it's a framework that's generic. It covers, all of the modalities that we accredit. So as we're saying, we've paired unconscious with out of awareness processes, and that was all done through peer review, expert peer review from different modalities, all working on the framework together. The framework includes a glossary of terms, which you may not have looked at, which is very useful, I think, in helping to provide a working understanding of how language is used and can be adapted to support the different modalities, understandings and approaches. And as I say, the framework has been developed by partners representing practitioners from many different modalities, and our accredited courses may need to find the best approach to teaching the criteria that works for them. And there is scope in the criteria to do this, really, as there is with the current accreditation scheme. Those criteria, they are applicable to all sorts of different training courses. So, for example, when courses are teaching about the role of psychiatric diagnosis and the DSM, some courses you feel really comfortable teaching in those terms, while others may take a critical approach to teaching to the language and the discourse in those areas, while recognizing the importance of ensuring that their students are familiar with medical or psychiatric diagnoses and terms, because they may be supporting clients in the future or on placement who've had a diagnosis and who are using that language perhaps themselves, or who've had it used about them. So it's really important. And some clients also do identify as having a mental health concern or issue or a psychiatric diagnosis. So yeah, there's something. And again, what I was saying just now about we've got a long time to support our courses in mapping to these criteria, till 2028. And we're going to be, really trying to find out where we already are getting information about where some of the challenges are. And that's really helpful. It means that we can start to target resources appropriately to support courses in trying to kind of figure out, if they want to remain an accredited course, how they can do that within the new criteria.
Although we're asking accredited courses to map to at least column B, graduates from those courses will still need to complete the 450 hours of supervised practice before being eligible to apply for individual accreditation. That is the case now, and that isn't going to change. But what we can say is that graduates from accredited courses will have a much more streamlined accreditation application process, because obviously if the course is teaching the column B competences and then they're being assessed, we don't need to go over those again.
We're looking at these top-ups. We haven't yet finally agreed the criteria or the details of the schemes. And as soon as we've got enough on that, we will be sharing that with you. And the hope is that they will be ready for courses to deliver in 2025. But, we can't absolutely say that at this point. But if you are interested in setting up a top-up scheme, then we really want to hear from you about that. I know lots of you on accredited courses did give us that information in the SCoPEd survey earlier this year. But, feel free, if you've got an idea, to let us know in accredited courses. And then that way we'll be gathering a sense of kind of what the desires are from courses in that respect.
We know that students get to the end of their training with very varied experiences, knowledge and skills. So what we'd say to courses who might be considering top-ups is to think about your particular catchment area, where you recruit your cohorts from, and whether you think there is a valid case for supporting graduates, perhaps from other trainings in the area, to develop and upskill to column B competences. You'll also probably want to consider if your own students might be interested in further development in the column C competences beyond qualifying on your existing accredited course. So, naturally courses will want to do their own market research to help them to gauge whether a column B or column C top-up is going to be a viable option for your particular training provider. The current course accreditation criteria requires all course staff to be appropriately qualified and demonstrate competence between them to cover all elements of the course. And of course, as you know, there's already a requirement for the majority of course staff to either be accredited with BACP or register with an appropriate professional body to an equivalent level. But what we can't say at this point is whether or not this will need to be adapted to reflect the column C requirements. To some extent, we still need in ongoing discussions with SCoPEd partners around these types of requirements that will need to be in place.